Hi.
Oh hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
I'm sorry for the little break in uploading. I didn't upload anything for about like 5-6 days. I just needed to take a break after the James Charles video. That one took a lot of time in editing and just production. I'm back with the slightly late November episode of New Makeup Releases, Favorites, and Fails. So if you're new to this channel, New Makeup Releases, Favorites, and Fails is basically where I just go through all the new releases that I tried out and review them. It's a really nice way for me to just kind of jam all the reviews into one big video, and I'm super excited about this month because I tried out so many good things and also a few bad things. It's a lot of eyeshadow, mostly eyeshadow, a ridiculous amount of eyeshadow actually.
Stop it. Get some help.
And I'm actually planning on trying out a lot more fun stuff in the month of December. So I'll show you guys what's on my current wish list and just show you guys what you can probably expect to see sometime on my channel in the future. So to compile my wish list and just like the stuff that I have my eye on, I use Shoptagger, which is a like app and website I've talked about before. It's basically just like an online wish list where you, if you're shopping, you just click a button and it saves it to your wish list. And then whenever that item drops in price or if it comes back in stock, they'll notify you through email. So I find it really useful. So I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of 3 things that I'm planning on getting and reviewing for you guys. So the first thing is the Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette.
Smoke weed every day.
I'm really interested in this one. Even though it's mostly shimmers, I still really want to pick it up because I haven't tried Melt Cosmetics before. And oh my god, the freaking color scheme though. So yeah, this one's on my wish list. Next thing I'm planning on getting and reviewing for you guys at some point is the Be Perfect and Stacey Marie palette. The Carnival palette, it's come out of stock and in stock multiple times on the Beauty Bay website, which is where I'm planning on purchasing it from. So I have that one saved just in case it comes back in stock or goes down in price. And then thirdly, I have the new Ace Beauté palette. They came out with a new beautiful color scheme palette and I'm super excited about this one. You guys know that I really love Ace Beauté. I'm actually wearing one of their palettes right now, the Paradise Fallen, so planning on getting that one. I'm gonna add that one to my wish list and super excited about that color scheme. Everyone's been tagging me in it and
oh, love that.
That's just a sneak peek of what's on my wish list and what I'm planning on buying in December. I thought that would be a fun thing to show you guys. And I want to thank Shoptagger for sponsoring this video. I just think their service is awesome. It's completely free and I use it like all the time, legitimately. It's one of my favorite things that I use online when I'm shopping, so definitely recommend checking them out. But now, without further ado, I'll show you guys what I reviewed this month and give you guys my thoughts. So by far the biggest release and like the most exciting thing I tried this month was the Morphe and James Charles Artistry palettes. I did a full review on this one. It's the last video that I published, so you can go ahead and watch that one for my really ridiculously in-depth thoughts on this. I went in hard. But with this type of like huge hyped up release, I love doing really thorough reviews like that, so I'm planning on doing much more of those in the future. Anyways, I overall gave this one a very positive review. I was expecting very high things. I had my expectations set very high because A, it's James Charles, and B, he was hyping it up hard too. So I was expecting a really good colorful palette and he didn't have to go this hard. I think it's amazing quality for the price. You're getting 39 shades for $39. And I think he just knocked it out of the park. The only 2 shades I didn't like in here, which was the white and the light pink, I just didn't like them because they weren't as necessarily bright as I wanted them to be, but they weren't bad quality. So I didn't really have a problem with any of the shades in here. This has been one of the most used palettes of the month for me, and I just love how this one performs. I think it does an amazing job in creating beautiful, bold, colorful looks. So I made a very bold statement in my review video, and I said that this is my new favorite palette, or probably my new favorite palette. And I stand by it. I was excited about it when it launched, but I was even more excited when I opened it up and I saw the colors for myself and I was just like, oh, these are beautiful. And then when I started working with them and they were performing just amazingly, I was so happy. So this is probably the best thing I tried this month. It's not gonna be for everyone, especially if you don't really like doing colorful looks, but I mean, clearly I like doing colorful looks, so I really like this one. It's a smart purchase for me, and I think this is one of the best quality palettes I've tried all year. So, bold statements, I know. Just my abbreviated thoughts on this one.
Yes.
I've been planning out my 2018 favorites video, which is going to be very long, very in-depth, and just have a lot of really awesome products in it. So I've been planning out that video for a while. The James palette is definitely good. The James palette is one of the things that I tried this month that is probably definitely gonna be in that video, but something I really wasn't expecting to love so much, but just went so hard, was the BECCA Cosmetics Skin Love Foundation. So I got this one at the very beginning of the month, and I've been testing it out all month. I know that Desi Perkins and Lustrelux Katie have been talking about this one. I was a little bit nervous about this one. I'm not a huge fan of like super dewy foundations, but this one really isn't that. I would say this is a very natural skin finish. It's also infused with skincare, so this is from the Skin Love line. It's infused with a kind of a glow serum, which I really like the serum from their line. That one's beautiful as a foundation mixer. I use this in a get ready with me, and a lot of the comments were like, oh, your skin looks so nice. That is the nicest compliment you could ever give me. Personally, I have a very troubled relationship with my skin. I'm very insecure about it, and lately it's been kind of shit. I've just been kind of stressed out. And I find that when my skin is really at its worst, putting on full coverage foundation and something really, really matte isn't really gonna help that. So I've been leaning more into the kind of natural skin finish, and I've been loving it so much. So obviously today I'm not really going for that, but 5 out of the 7 days of the week, that is what I'm going for. I'm going for more of a kind of just like, maybe she's born with it, maybe she just has really, really nice skin. It's medium coverage though, and this just, it truly does blur your skin out. It says it's the weightless blur foundation, and I feel like it really does just kind of smooth over everything like a filter. It's so good. This is a really, really good foundation, and the more I wear it, the more I love it. So it's one of the few kind of like more natural finish, dewy-ish skin foundations that doesn't look oily and gross on my face at the end of the day. I feel like this lasts through a solid 10-hour wear test, which that's how long I wear my makeup. I go hard. By the way, I'm in the shade Ivory. It's a pretty good shade match for me. It's a little bit pinker than I'd like for it to be, but I could live with it. By the way, I am wearing my extensions today. These are from Irresistible Me. I did a full IGTV video talking about my hair, the products I use, and like the styling stuff I use, as well as my extensions. So go ahead and watch that. But yeah, that's why my hair is super long and just beautiful today, because my natural hair was just looking... I'm a little bit late to the game on this one, but I'm really glad that I did wait to get this one, especially because I wasn't sure if I was going to use a full size. So Sephora recently released the FARSALI Jelly Beam in a small like travel size. So this is 0.2 fluid ounces. I believe the bigger one is like 0.5 or something, so it's a lot bigger. And this is $22. I think the big one is $40, which is very expensive for a single highlighter. So I'm not like a huge cream highlighter person. I can get down with some like cream bronzers and cream blushes, but cream highlighter, it's a really weird like jelly texture, super fun to play with. And when this one came out, I saw a lot of videos talking about this one as like the most pigmented, bright, blinding highlighter in the world. Still though, that $40 price tag was holding me back, so when I saw that they had a small $22 version, I was like, yes. The first few times I tried this one out, I hated it. It was hard to finesse. I tried to use it with a brush and it just moved around literally every molecule of foundation on my cheek. It was just like, bye. So I really, really did not like this one for the first couple times I used it, but then I started trying it out with my finger, just like going in and tapping it on, which is a little bit more effort than I'd be willing to put in for a $40 highlighter, but the effect, oh my god, it's so pretty. It's one of the most blinding highlighters that doesn't leave like a stripe on your cheek. So because it's kind of like a cream jelly texture, it melts in and it looks like you just have the sun beaming from your face. So this I would say is like the kind of cream liquefied version of the Anastasia Amrezy highlighter, which can sometimes, if you layer it on quite a bit, look like you have a bright metallic stripe and doesn't look natural, whereas this one, it blends into your skin and just like melts in. So if you've been wanting to try this one out but you haven't wanted to spend the $40, or if you're just waiting for a mini, now is your time. I think this is an awesome option, and I'm probably not going to go through this very quickly just because it is a cream highlighter and I have a ton of highlighters in my collection, but I really like this one a lot. Besides the Morphe James Charles palette, the only other full like dedicated review video I did this month was for the Huda Beauty new nude palette. This was something I used extensively in the first half of the month until my James palette came. It's a lot more cool tone than I've seen most neutral palettes being, and I really like this one a lot. After I got the James one though, I kind of started neglecting this one just because I was using that one pretty much for the entire like week and a half that I was using to test it for the video. So I think the formula in here is really nice, very similar to Desert Dusk, but not quite as dry. It's just a bit more creamy. I think the mattes in here blend very easily and just layer extremely well. Berry tones, pinks, and cool tones can be very hard to formulate, and I think she did an awesome job with this one. I also think the shimmers, while they're a bit of a clickbait scam because they don't actually have like that foiled appearance, they just have like white flecks in them that give them that appearance on screen. They're still beautiful. I think they perform really well, and I definitely prefer them with a finger. I tried out a very bright palette and a very neutral palette this month, and I just really enjoyed both of them. Overall, I think this is definitely like a 5-star for me. If I'm paying $65, it better be good. Oh, I lied. I also did a full review video on the Shot Miss A new releases. So in that video, I reviewed their eyeshadow palettes as well as some of their new cream single eyeshadows, all 4 of their new highlighters, and then some lip glosses as well. I also released a bunch of new blushes, so cream blushes, powder blushes, and some cream highlighters as well. And those did not reach me in time to make it into the video, so I'm going to show you guys all the different ones. First, I'll talk about the cream blushes. So I have quite a few of them here. These are called the Hush Cream Sheer Blushes. Basically just little like compacts of blush. They kind of remind me of the packaging of kids makeup, I guess. Just this little plastic pan. I kind of halfway expected there to be kind of a like scrapey applicator thing that you know. No. So they are very small. Of course they are $1 each, so I wasn't expecting like a huge pan. They are super small, and you can tell that the packaging isn't super expensive, which isn't a huge deal for me because they are so affordable, but still that's something to take into account. Overall, I really like these ones with more of a light coverage, like no makeup look. I didn't think that they performed the best with foundation. I felt like they kind of moved around like whatever pigmentation or coverage I had underneath it, just because they are of course a cream product. I would definitely recommend using these with your finger and just like kind of patting them in and just tapping them on. My favorite way to apply them is to use a finger to get that initial color on and go in with a blush brush and just kind of buff it out. But overall, they have a lot of really pretty colors. Personally, my favorites are the shades Demure, which is kind of a like brown tone, very similar to the Toasted Cinnamon blush from Burt's Bees that I adore. There's also a really fun like bright red shade here called Charm. These are very fun, and the thing that I love about cream blushes is that they just look so natural on the skin, so it doesn't look like you've layered on a ton of powder blusher, and it just looks very just like effortless and sun-kissed. So I would kind of liken these to the effect of the Glossier cloud paints, but not in the same medium whatsoever. And you can also use them as a very nice sheer lip tint as well, so they're pretty multi-purpose, and I really like these a lot. However, if cream is not your thing, they also came out with a bunch of powder blushes, so I have a few from the line here. These are called the AOA Studio Perfect blushes, and they are a bit smaller than I was expecting them to be, especially because I guess the pictures on the website make them look like pretty big sizes of pans, and they're a bit smaller than I was expecting, but still. I think the packaging on these ones is a lot nicer. They're a screw off one, and then you have this little pan here. So this is one of my favorite shades called Auburn. Like, oh, that is such a beautiful shade. Auburn is one of my favorites. I'm wearing the shade Looker right now on my cheeks. I think it's really gorgeous. I also really like the shade Phenol, which is a beautiful, like kind of, again, very similar to Burt's Bees Toasted Cinnamon, which I really love. It's a kind of bronzer color, so I use this one as a bronzer. These, if they had been included in the full Shot Miss A video, I probably would have said that these are my favorite new release from them, just because they're a really good formula. They blend very easily. These are gorgeous. They have a lot of different shades, and I could definitely recommend picking up whatever color you'd like. Finally, they came out with the Dewy Cream Highlighters, so I have a few right here. I do have a couple more upstairs. They did send me the full line. These are a really like interesting texture. They did come out with like the Velour Cream Highlighters, which are very different in my opinion. Those are like an opaque, very icy shine, whereas these are very sheer and a very nice dewy effect. So they have a kind of duochrome flip to them. This one is like kind of pinky toned called Grace. I also really like the shades Haze and Opal. But overall, these are a very different effect from what I would say the other highlighters that they have are. They're very duochrome, very like glossy on the skin, and they just kind of give you that like nice wet look effect, which I really like. However, these definitely do not play well with like very full coverage foundation. Even if you go in with a finger, they're gonna probably move around whatever you have underneath. So I would say these are only really usable for me if I'm wearing very light coverage foundation or a tinted moisturizer or even like no foundation. But if I have anything like medium or full coverage, it's just,
oh, I know what's wrong with this. Everything.
However, I did want to take this opportunity to touch back in on the palettes I reviewed in that video. So the A2O Lab line came out with these like new eyeshadow palettes for holidays, and the more I've tried these ones, the more I've kind of like not liked them. The only one I really ended up liking was the Okay, as I was saying before my life decided to just really fall apart, the only one I really ended up liking was the Vanity palette, which I'm holding very tentatively because I don't want the pans to fall out again. The palette I really did enjoy, and I think the shimmers in these palettes are awesome. But I was really disappointed with the colorful palette, which is called Immersed, mostly just because the shades in here look beautiful, very vibrant and bright, and just wabam crazy. I am bringing these palettes back up in this video just because they were a bit of a disappointment for me this month. Besides this one, I really did like this one, the colorful palette, and just the rest of them, they weren't my favorite. If you're wanting a really good eyeshadow palette from Shop Missy for $10, which is the price of these ones, I would recommend going for their permanent eyeshadow kits. Those are awesome. They have like sturdy packaging, so they're not gonna like break apart and fall apart. And the quality in those palettes is a lot more consistent and just like better. So these aren't my favorite and were a bit of a fail this month, especially you guys saw. I also tried out some stuff this month from a K-beauty brand called MOIRA Cosmetics. Sent along some of their new releases, including this eyeshadow palette called Meant to Be, which was the most exciting thing, and then a concealer as well called the Mega Concealer. Here's the palette. This is very like rosy toned. I think this is actually pretty similar in color scheme to the Huda Beauty new nude palette, but a little bit more on the like warm tone side. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised with how these eyeshadows perform. I felt like the shimmers were really nice and soft, very like blinding. Go off. Then I also felt like the mattes were beautiful, especially for the colors and the formula that they picked. They're a little bit more buildable, so they're not like super pigmented on first swipe, but then again, these are very nice neutral shades, so I like my neutrals to be a bit more buildable, whereas my colorful shades, I want pigment, honey. Cheek shades over here I wasn't a huge fan of, just because this highlighter here, it looked like it was going to be a great fit for my skin tone, but it just kind of came off as like how it looks in the pan, a little bit gray on the skin, which was weird. But overall, I really like the eyeshadows in here. So I don't really know much about K-beauty brands, especially in the eyeshadow department, but because I do love eyeshadow, I'd love to try some more stuff. So if you guys have any recommendations for some good like cruelty-free Korean brands that have good eyeshadows, hit me up. I also tried out their Mega Concealer. I believe this is the lightest shade, Vanilla. They also have a smaller, I think called the Lavish Creamy Concealer, which I tried out a couple months ago. You obviously know what this is trying to dupe, Tarte Shape Tape. It's supposed to be a very nice waterproof, super full coverage concealer that lasts very well through the day. I actually preferred the other one. I felt like that one was very similar to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, whereas this one, it wasn't really Shape Tape-esque in that it creased and it was full coverage. It just didn't really last as well throughout the day as I would like from a very full coverage, full beat concealer like this one. So not my favorite. I definitely prefer their other concealer, but it's fine. So I tried out the lashes from the Makeup Shack this month, which is an online, like very inexpensive, like wholesale indie brand store. So they have a lot of indie brands as well as their own brand. These are the in-house, the Makeup Shack brand, and these are 3D silk lashes. So mink free. You might have seen me using the Dubai style in the James Charles tutorial video that I did, but oh my god, these are beautiful. Ironically, I'm not wearing them today. Today I'm wearing pure bombshell lashes. It's very like wispy and fluffy. They look very like faux mink style, but they are silk. For very affordable lashes, they're amazing quality. They just look super expensive. I also really like the lash band. It's very flexible and thin, kind of like the Morphe one, but I feel like that one is a little bit like less flexible when you first get them, whereas these, very thin and flexible, but not to a point where I feel like it's just gonna break. Overall though, I definitely really love the style Dubai. I think these are my new like favorite style of lashes. I also have the style Eye Popping, which I really enjoyed, but definitely picking up more of these lashes when I go to the store again because they're really, really good. And for $9, awesome quality. So I don't know if a lot of people care about lashes that much, but these are really good. So I'm sharing them with you guys. Okay. I also tried out some stuff from Laura Mercier this month, and as I said, my skin has been troubling me lately, but it's winter, and one thing that I'm proud of my skin for doing this winter is not being dry as crap. I've started doing this thing where either at night, like every night, or if I'm going on an airplane, I just cover my skin in skincare oil and it just soaks in all the hydration. I wake up and my skin feels like a baby's butt. Or just any butt, honestly.
What the fuck?
So this month, the oil of choice that I've been using has been the Laura Mercier Flawless Skin Rose Oil, which is, first of all, gorgeous packaging, but this is just really nice and light. I felt like it's one of the few skincare oils that doesn't really like clog up my pores or anything. And is it kind of a unnecessarily luxurious product? Absolutely. You could probably use like jojoba oil or any like inexpensive skincare oil, but I think it's really gorgeous and it smells very nice. So I've been using this one. It's done some really nice hydrating stuff for my face, and I felt like it's just kind of sucked the life back into my skin. I usually get like dry patches down around here and up on my forehead during winter, but thankfully with my like new oil regimen, that hasn't really happened. Laura, if you thought you were off the hook, you ain't. Because I also tried out something this month that I really did not love from Laura Mercier. So they attempted to do a kind of colorful eyeshadow palette. This is the Hidden Gems eyeshadow palette, and I gotta give them props, I guess, for attempting to do a colorful eyeshadow palette, but this really ain't it, sis. I don't mind a completely shimmer palette, but they better be like good shimmers, and these were just very, like, I understand if you're going for a nice soft shimmer, but there's definitely ways to do it. These, I felt like they just had very little color payoff. They kind of held up that stereotype of like luxury brands create terrible eyeshadow palettes. There are very few like more expensive bougie brands like this that I really feel like their eyeshadow palettes are good. Pat McGrath being one of them. Marc Jacobs makes really good eyeshadow palettes, but for the most part, I don't really love luxurious brands eyeshadow palettes, and this just kind of felt like, hey, we're gonna try to be cool and do a colorful eyeshadow palette, but they didn't really commit, and they just made like an all shimmer palette where the shimmers were. I don't know how I went so long without ever reviewing the Colourpop translucent setting powder. They came out with the no filter setting powder sometime, I think in June, and I got the no filter foundation, but I never ended up picking up the no filter setting powder for some reason. First of all, I do want to say I really do like this powder quite a bit. It's a really nice quality powder, very finely milled. This reminds me very much of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powders, so it's probably one of the only like drugstore affordable brand powders that I feel like really does stack up to what the Laura Mercier one does. It's very nice and mattifying, and I feel like it just wears very well throughout the day. It's $9, and that's a really good affordable price for a setting powder, but then I looked at the amount of product in here. It's 0.3 ounces. Laura Mercier translucent setting powder is $38 for a full ounce. So this, if you were to get the same amount of product in the Laura Mercier one, you'd be paying close to $30. Honestly, not a huge price difference, and I do prefer the Laura Mercier one. So this, I guess it's good, but in the long run, powder I feel like is something you go through very quickly and you're gonna use up. It's a better deal to get, and what I'm saying is it's probably just a better deal to get the Laura Mercier one and just get the actual thing instead of buying a dupe for it that you're gonna go through 3 times as quickly. When you break it down by price, it's not a good dupe at all. Finally, the last thing I tried this month was the new Deck of Scarlet edition number 11 palette, and they also came out with a liner. So these come in a set together for $29.95. I talked a little bit about the palette itself in my yellow eyeshadows video just because of this crazy ass bright shade here. Gorgeous packaging aside, I think this is beautiful. I think they did a really nice job with the colors in here. And I really did not like the Deck of Scarlet edition number, I think 10 from last month. That one just, it was dry, the quality wasn't really there, and I didn't really like that one at all. So going off of that one, I was very happy to see that this one was a lot better quality. These shadows in here are very nice and creamy, as well as the cheek shades. Obviously, I can't use the highlighter in here because it's darker than my actual face, but I do think this is a beautiful color palette for people of a darker or just like medium skin tone. Gorgeous shades in here, the quality is awesome. Tan lines, I didn't even talk about this one, but like, that is such a gorgeous, like, beautiful, like, bronzy shimmer shade. This all over the lid for a holiday party. I also love the liner that it came with. It's like a glitter liner. This is beautiful. It's very user-friendly. Normally, if I'm doing like a glitter line on a cut crease or something, I'll just go in with like loose glitter, but I feel like this is a lot more user-friendly and just easy to throw into your bag, touch up throughout the night, and gorgeous all over the lids as well. So for $29.95, these together, yes. Alright guys, so that is it for the new makeup releases, favorites, and fails of November. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a version of this for December. If I do, it's probably going to be in like mid-January, or I might just do a big one for January just because I am doing the yearly favorites video. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys got some good feedback and reviews on some of these products, and hope you got anything you want, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also make sure you're following me down below to see makeup looks like this one, posted pretty much every single day. Thank you so much to Shop Tagger for sponsoring this video, and if you made it to the very end of this video, country boy, I love you. Bye.